Right, time to take a look at what's grabbing headlines here in France. And Florence Villeminot joins me in the studio. Good morning, Flo. Now, we're going to start stateside, actually. French papers are paying very close attention to the US presidential election and particularly the campaign of a certain Donald Trump.
That's right. There's certainly a lot of fascination for Donald Trump in the French media. Let's take a look at Le Figaro, which reports that Donald Trump is on the verge of a breaking point. He's facing a moment of truth. That's what Le Figaro says in its editorial today. Now, Trump is free-falling in opinion polls. He's facing growing distrust within his own party, but he remains defiant. He continues to believe in himself, and he refuses to reorient his outrageous campaign. So Le Figaro wonders, is he reckless? Is he incompetent? Or is he stubborn? Or is he a genius? They can't really figure Trump out quite yet.
Who can?
In the meantime, the United States is holding its breath, and the world is watching on, skeptical and nervous. The real question is, can he continue on like this until November?
Indeed. Well, you mentioned the world looking on. Le Figaro reports on the situation in Europe.
That's right. Trump has thrown European leaders off balance for several reasons. Sweeping statements, questionable knowledge about international relations, and an ambiguous relationship with Vladimir Putin. This has led several EU leaders to break a traditional diplomatic silence when it comes to campaigns going on in other countries. Several EU leaders have expressed their concern over Donald Trump's popularity in the United States. Among them, the French president, François Hollande. He says that Donald Trump's excessiveness makes his stomach turn. Essentially, he says that Donald Trump makes him want to retch. So quite extreme words there coming from our French president here. Germany's foreign minister as well has said that the idea of Trump at the White House is terrifying. And even Boris Johnson, he's known for his quite colorful comments. And in fact, some people sometimes compare Boris Johnson to Donald Trump. Well,
is it the hair?
It might be the hair. It might be the hair. It might also just be the outrageousness. But according to Le Figaro, he says that Trump's ill-informed statements are absurd. So you can see quite a lot of criticism coming out of Europe.
Okay, but he's charging on, Donald Trump is. Yesterday he gave a speech in Ohio where he called for the US to put in place ideological litmus test for Muslim visitors and migrants.
That's right. Another day, another controversial statement. You can read all about that one in Les Echos that looks at Trump's strategy in all this and says that essentially Donald Trump is exploiting the terrorist threat. All this to try and bounce back in opinion polls. It's unclear, though, whether these muscular speeches, that's the way Les Echos describes them, whether all this will be enough to reboot his campaign, because lots of papers today are reporting on something that the New York Times was actually talking about yesterday. You can read about it in Libération, talking about yet another ball and chain for Donald Trump. This is about his campaign manager, his campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. Now, yesterday, the New York Times revealed that secret handwritten ledgers found in the offices of the former Ukrainian president, Viktor Yanukovych, showed that $12.7 million of undisclosed cash payments had been designated for Mr. Manafort, who was working for Yanukovych at the time, dealing with his PR, etc. So Libération says that now he's suspected of corruption, and this could turn against Trump as well.
Well, from US to French politics and French President François Hollande meeting the Pope tomorrow at the Vatican.
That's right. It'll be the second visit with the Pope. And La Croix, the Catholic paper, of course, is reporting on this visit tomorrow, which is coming 3 weeks after, of course, a Catholic priest, an 84-year-old priest, was brutally murdered in a terrorist attack in Saint-Étienne-de-Roubaix. Now, this is a very interesting article talking about relations, diplomatic relations between France and the Vatican. There's been a long period of misunderstanding, according to La Croix. Relations have been very tense in recent years because a couple years ago, the Vatican refused the authorization of a French ambassador to the Vatican, reportedly because this man was gay. And so you can see this article saying, it seems like relations are being patched up now. La Croix says that there's some sort of a reconciliation happening between French authorities and the Holy See.
Well, Hollande's visit is a rare media occasion for the president. He's been staying out of the spotlight recently this summer.
That's right. L'Opinion clearly misses the French president. They miss his presence in the media. And you can see they're quite critical. They're calling him the hidden president. The president is somewhere, but nobody must know where he is. It's clearly a state secret. And they're critical of him for remaining absent and silent throughout the summer.
Oh, well, I would have thought he has the right to have a private vacation away from the media glare. But there's one person who's neither absent nor silent, former President Nicolas Sarkozy.
Oh, that's right. He's definitely not staying quiet during his summer vacation. Let's take a look at Le Parisien. We can see Nicolas Sarkozy looking very, very spandexy, I guess maybe you can say here, on his bicycle in the south of France. He wants to create a surprise. Now, he's preparing his post-summer sprint. That is what Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien is saying. Essentially, it's the worst-kept secret in French politics that Nicolas Sarkozy wants to run in the primary for Les Républicains, the opposition party, which is going to be next November. Supposedly, he's holding out until the end of the summer before making this shocking announcement that he's going to make a comeback into French politics. In fact, Le Parisien goes so far as to say, how can you make something so predictable, mysterious, and surprising? Well, I guess he's had plenty of time to think about it while going on these long bike rides all by himself. Well, all by himself with a lot of photographers.
With a lot of
in the
the
south of France.
paparazzi.
Exactly. But my question is, where is his helmet? I don't know if that's a very good example for a presidential candidate.
Well, yeah, indeed. And I guess the lycra, it's all part of the comeback. If
think
it's
so.
required for a comeback, I don't know. Okay, Flo, thanks very much. So that was Florence Villeminot with the press review.